Turn. Good.
Ivy Pochoda's path to writing came by way of squash.
So I just have to get it above the red line.
And across into here.
And in here.
Perfect.
Her parents got set up with a membership at a racket club when Pochoda was a kid, growing up in Brooklyn.
After a year, we'd never really used it, and they figured, well, maybe I should try to play squash and to see if we could get something out of this club. And it turned out it was pretty good, so I stuck with it.
Like best in the country.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I was 12, it's true.
The 12-year-old prodigy became a 4-time national champion while at Harvard. After college, she moved to Amsterdam to play. Then told her parents she was thinking about something else.
They wanted me to come home. And I said, no, I'm not coming home. I'm going to write a book. This is when my father told me that his heart sank because I'd chosen this very difficult way to make a living, squash, and this equally difficult way to make a living, writing. I started writing a novel. I had no idea what I was doing while I was playing on the squash tour, and it took me a really long time. But then I felt the disciplines sort of echoed each other.
I've never heard squash and writing compared before.
Yeah, well, I can compare all sports to writing. I think they're really similar disciplines.
When we thought about it, the analogy started to make devilish sense.
You have to be able to use deception, which is sort of something you need in sports. Good, perfect. Okay, good job. You have to be able to lure your opponent into like a comfortable pattern and then pull the rug out from under them and redirect them.
No!
That's a good point.
You like luring people in.
Totally.
Consider us lured.
Your laugh sounds evil.
Especially by Sing Her Down, which tells the story of 2 women just released from prison who were on a collision course. Pochoda was very intentional in what she was trying to do.
But I really wanted people to be brought face to face with what violence really is. We rarely talk about women being violent. Women are not allowed to be violent under their own sail. They can be on a revenge kick, or they can be striking back against an abusive husband or an abusive parent. But we never see women treated with the same power as men who are violent. And I really wanted to see if I could write a book without excusing their violence.
Because there's no discernible reason necessarily for the violence from the women in the book.
No.
Like, it's not like this is why they're doing it.
No.
It's just they're violent.
Yes, you're absolutely right, and that was the exercise. We read American Psycho, and there's no reason that he's violent.
Mm-hmm.
He just is, and people love it. No Country for Old Men and Anton Chigurh, he's sort of like a Terminator, but what a cool character, and he's got all this philosophy that he spouts when he's about to kill somebody, and people love it, and they think it's really interesting, and I just really wanted to see if I could write a book in which women were allowed the same freedom on the page as men, and it was really hard.
From the very beginning, the violence is graphic. I mean...
A fork in somebody's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the goal, to be as vivid.
If Cormac McCarthy can do it in Blood Meridian, I sure as hell can. You know, I mean, that fork in the face, one woman stabbing another one with a fork and twisting it seems to be exactly what I was going for, because people keep talking to me about it. And I was like, you've read these serial killer novels with ritualistic killing and flaying, and this is the problem?
Cormac McCarthy's a big name to mention.
Yeah, I mean, it's hubristic for me to even compare myself to him, but he's drilled to the heart of our violent natures more than any other author.
Mm-hmm.
And if he can do it for men, I can do it for women.
Cormac McCarthy is a big name. So is Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant cold calls you.
Yeah.
Because he's like, I need someone who's a published author, professional athletes.
Yes.
What was the other criteria?
I had a degree in classical Greek and Latin.
I don't know how he came up with these 3 things, but there's only one person
Yeah,
that has all 3 of those things.
It is true. Also, I was wondering about that Google search.
Kobe Bryant's Googling.
He did all his own stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet he did.
Oh, sure.
I bet he did.
Yeah. I got an email that he was going to call me, and I thought it was a hoax. And he called at exactly 9 a.m. the next day, and he had this wild idea about children's fantasy books about athletes.
Epica, The Tree of Ecroft, became a series of young adult books. Pochoda also works with the Los Angeles Poverty Department, the other LAPD. She helps the unhoused and other members of the Skid Row community find their voice, including in this creative writing workshop.
I've been looking for a sign that it's over between us. And you being all excited that you're going to a town that has my name in it, as if that somehow constitutes a new beginning, those are your words, tells me what I need to know.
I just think that people think of homelessness in one particular way or two particular ways. I did before I started working there. I kind of couldn't imagine how someone who's unhoused would be in a writing class. And I had one sort of very cut and dried vision of what homelessness was. But my students are educated, even people who might not have had even finished high school. People have really great stories to tell. They really want to write and create. We don't do writing about Skid Row. We don't do writing about, the homeless crisis and that stuff. People are allowed to do whatever they want. They're not supposed to stand in for that, and it's really, really exciting to see what they come up with.
She's great.
I love her.
I'm a big fan working on this. And I went on the squash court with high expectations.
Of course you did. You're an athlete.
About how I performed.
Yes.
Those were quickly dismissed. Very quickly dismissed.
I give you credit for
By not just Pochoda, but her 11-year-old daughter, too.
Of course.